What was your creepy unexplained experience as a child? Haven't told this one in a while. I was young, 5 to 7, somewhere in there. I was sleeping in between my parents for whatever reason. I woke up. I remember the clock reading around 4 a.m. There was something standing by the window, looking out into the front yard. It looked like a man in a brown wool robe, about 6 feet 4 inches or so. I started to stir and sat up in bed, and the thing turned and looked at me. Dear God, that face. Extremely pale white skin, lots of really pronounced wrinkles, and the face drooped like it was melting, down into a really pointy chin, almost similar to a scream mask but with all of the features of a living being. Its mouth was hanging open and its eyes were wide, almost like it was worried or frightened. It kept its gaze on me while it moved away from the window, in front of the bed, and out the open bedroom door. The second it exited the room, the lights turned on their own and both of my parents jumped up on either side of me, breathing heavily like they'd both just woken up from a nightmare. To be clear, I was fully able to move during this. I don't think it was sleep paralysis, but I'm not sure what it could have been other than some kind of demon or really fucking ugly ghost. I've never seen it since, but I can still picture it clear as day. Was about 5 or 6. One night my parents and I were watching TV in the living room of our ranch-style house in the suburbs in the Midwest. A stanger light coming from the hallway got our attention. In the bedroom at the end of the hall there was a 1 by 1 foot glowing orb of light floating about 3 to 4 feet from the floor illuminating the dark room. The orb seemed to realize it was being observed and moved very quickly, and before we knew it the orb was outside like it had passed through the wall or windows. It then very quickly went around the house jumping or passing through 2 6-foot fences in a matter of seconds. We saw it do this through the windows and our dog started freaking out. My dad freaks out and grabs his revolver and a flashlight and storms outside. It had rained recently and there was mud outside but no evidence of footprints or anything to rationally explain it. While the event is family legend now, my mom thought it was a ghost or spirit, my dad thought it was aliens, and quite frankly I have no idea. I leaned towards ball lightning, but it seemed to have at least some level of intelligence and seemed to make deliberate, not random movements. I was 8 years old and my cousin was turning 8 the next month. This occurred in early August. To add some context to this event, my family owned land. A few of my uncles built their houses on their property, including my dad. My dad's house and my uncle's house are about 130 meters apart, and in the evening the farm lights light up the dirt path between their houses. The event, I remember this evening so clearly. It was a warm evening, the sun had just set, the evening was calm, no wind or inclement weather. My cousin and I are walking back to my dad's house, we're talking, and as we come about 50 meters close to my dad's house, this blinding white light flashed twice. We both just stood there. We were both silent, standing there. We both looked at each other and said, "Did that just happen?" We both freaked out and ran the rest of the 50 meters back to my house. We, both very excited by this event, told my parents and his dad what happened outside, but nobody witnessed this, as the curtains were closed inside. None of the adults believed us. They said nothing, just kind of acknowledged us and continued visiting. The light wasn't accompanied with thunder because it wasn't lightning. The light was blinding. The acreage is located in the prairies. I don't know if there is any logical explanation for this event, but ever since then I have always believed that maybe, just maybe, it was aliens or some astronomical event. I know this sounds absolutely ridiculous to some people, but my cousin and I don't try to convince other people what we experienced, because we both know what experienced.